Hello, this is Harmon Tyson, and this is my Adept Quest project for EDIT 6150 with Dr. Knapp for the spring semester 19. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a tool named Spiral, and it's a really neat tool that I discovered a few weeks ago, which was great timing when we started on this assignment. It was introduced to us at our school through our PLC, and I've used it a few times in class, and I am a very novice user, but I have found it to be very beneficial and pretty cool. Spiral doesn't just do one thing specifically, questions or teamwork and whatnot. It is a collection of collaborative learning tools that you can use in your classroom and do some different activities at different times with it. And I found it to be a very powerful learning tool for my students. So what I want to try to get out of this presentation is I'm going to introduce the tool. I want to talk about the 4 C's, and not just collaboration, but also how it impacts critical thinking, communication, and creativity, although most of the research I've done is on collaboration because it all centers around that. Hopefully can show you a realistic example of how the tool can be used, and I'm going to also talk about how we support this with some of the research I've found. So what is Spiral? Well, it's a unique tool. Spiral is really a great resource in that it is has a unique 3-way view. Students can answer questions. You can pose quick-fire questions to students, and then they can answer them using technology that they have. It's really great in high school. They can use their phones. They can answer the questions, and then their responses can show up as anonymous on the board. So you don't know who answered. You're not embarrassed to answer or things like that. But the cool thing is, as a teacher, you can give feedback to each response. You can either give them a star for, hey, that was a great answer, or prompt them for, hey, improve that a little bit, and whatnot. It helps to facilitate active and collaborative learning through this process, so students can see everybody else's answers. You know, they can also talk to each other while they're doing it and things like that. You have different modes that we'll talk about. Like you can even import PowerPoint slides into Spiral and ask discussion questions. And it's really great to develop that critical thinking piece where you're asking kids to go a little bit deeper than just a surface of answering a question, which is a goal that we all have as teachers. So this is just a brief little screenshot, a quick fire about penguins, and these are questions. This first one says draw a Fordland penguin, and it has a doodle mode, so kids don't just have to answer with text. They can answer with sketches and things and be expressive in how they see things. So it has a lot of different tools, and the goal of it is to facilitate the active and collaborative learning. You can do this with quick fires, quick fire lights. You can have discussions. You can have team ups. You can even do clips. I have only used the quick fire light, and the discuss function so far. I haven't had an opportunity to implement the others in my classroom, but I've been really happy with the resources that I've gotten back. So I think in order to discuss one of the elements of the 4 C's, you really have to discuss what's collaboration. And the cool thing about this information came from the Spiral website, where you can tell they have put some thought and research into their methods. But there's tons of research about how collaboration can foster better problem-solving skills and greater learning outcomes. And there's also been tons of research about social interaction with constructivist and social cultural theories of learning through, Piaget and Vygotsky. And, you can't have collaborative learning without having a good social dynamic in the classroom. And I think that's what's important with some of this research. And what this software does is it fosters a safe social environment for kids so that they can feel comfortable answering questions, working in groups, and things like that. Some of the research that I found, like I say, that even from the software, is that the main principal aim of the research has been to understand how to foster social interactions that foster learning. Johnson, Johnson, and Smith did a big study on cooperative learning and how it was used to improve university instruction. And some of their research showed that cooperative learning is an example of how a theory validated by research may be applied to instructional practice. And their big thing was, you take what you know is validated by research and put it in the classroom, and it will work. And this is a tool, is a sample of that. Lal and Gadosi did some research over in Iran, but it was an interesting read because they did get results that, group collaborative efforts, students were able to get higher productivity, and also more caring, supportive, and committed relationships with their friends compared to those that did not. There's a couple of cool websites that I visited that are all about collaboration. It had some information to back some of this up too. Gokel did a study where they also validated that students that participate in learning perform better on critical thinking tests. So when they're given skills for critical thinking, students who practice collaborative learning were able to do better. I didn't find any articles on this particular software, but I did find one on software called Peerwise, where students are able to interact with each other and ask questions and answer questions, and it had some positive results of students performing better, which was good. So let's jump into Spiral.AC, and I went to the support page so you can get an idea of how to get started. So you can quick fire carry out formative assessments. You can do discussions that allow kids to collaborate on interactive presentations and spark creativity in class. You can use the team up function, and then Clip turns a public video to a live chat with questions and quizzes, which I guess is a lot like Ed Puzzle, but used when everybody can collaborate on it, which is really cool. The different information they have here, they have to get asked questions, and when you launch it, some of their results, kids can do that. You do have the classroom feature that you can add kids to classrooms and add students to your classroom. For example, this is the dashboard, and this is how I would do quick fires and quick fire lights. You can see that I created an inventor quick fire, and also I'm working on another one for my students, and I have not used the discuss or team up functions yet, but plan on doing that when I have the kids in my engineering class create presentations for famous engineers and have them all collaboratively work on that in different groups. You can see that you are able to have classes where I have a class created, and when you want kids to interact with this class, all they need to do is go to Spiral.AC and put in this code. If you use Google Classroom, it'll automatically import it for you. We do not at my system. We use an LMS called Canvas. These are students. There is a student tab, and it has students in it, so I'm not going to show you that. But you are able to create all these different things and have the kids participate in them. You can, upon doing that, when you do a quick fire, for example, it's a great formative tool either to start or end a lesson, and you can verbally ask a question quickly and do like a one question formative ticket out the door, or you can have a series of questions and the kids can do it in class, and then their responses go up on the whiteboard, and you're able to anonymously see responses. And as a teacher, you have direct interaction and instant feedback. You can give them a star for, hey, that was great, or you can say, hey, dig a little deeper here. Tell me a little bit more about that, or improve your answer as one of the prompts for response. And then the kids get that information back. And what I have noticed is that the learning environment is very positive, because when kids get an answer right, and you say, hey, that's correct, like, hey, I got a star, and they verbally say it out loud, and it makes them feel good. So I know that it is having a positive effect in the classroom. Citations that I used, some of the articles, you can see the Johnson articles, Valesco, and article about Web 2.0 technologies and things like that. I hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching.